Previously on Ratarossa, I took a major gamble and brought a Ferrari 430 Scuderia sight unseen. After assessing the damage and pricing up some of the obvious parts required, we got the car on a truck and back home. I then compared the Scuderia prices from around the world to see what repair margin I had to play with, and finally I shared with you the £50,000 price that I paid for the car, leaving you to decide if I'd done the right thing. So the focus on the Ferrari today is getting it mobile. That is going to be suspension, sorting out the wheel and making sure we can steer the thing. But before we do that, I want to say a quick thanks to all of you guys who took the time to leave comments on the previous video. Most of you agreed that buying this Scuderia was the right decision. What you couldn't agree on though was how much you think it's going to cost me to repair this thing. Anywhere between 20,000, I think some were even over 100,000. I know which end of the scale I'm really hoping for on this one. Anyway guys, let's roll up the sleeves, let's get out there and start saving another Ferrari. So last corner is the front right side corner, and this is where obviously most of the damage is. So having a look at this, we could get extremely lucky here, extremely lucky. So we've obviously got problems with this top suspension arm. That is broken off at the mounts there and also here. Now the only problem with this is the stud that comes out and protrudes through here. That has snapped off, so we've got to get that stud out and replace it. This one's okay, that one's okay. So that's the top one. We need to replace the top. It's obviously all bent in. The shock I'm not sure about at the moment. We need to have a closer inspection on that. But this bottom one is clearly all smashed up here. All the mount points look okay, maybe, I don't know about that. It might have been pushed in slightly there, but that side's okay. So this is all smashed, so really we got to get all this off before we can do anything and try and move this. So I'm coming up with a cunning plan. Now when it comes to rebuilding wrecked Ferraris, sometimes it's really handy when you're a bit of a parts hoarder like me. All of this is surplus 360 stuff that I've collected over the years. Most of it actually was left over from the silver Challenge Stradale that I rebuilt at the end of last year. And well, it is now going to be put to some good use and save me a lot of money. Watch this. Okay, so I have a spare upper and lower arm here. They're exactly the same as the Ferrari 360 and they're exactly the same left to right side. So I've got a spare pair of those. The bottom one seems to be holding in place for now. It's this top one that's got a lot of movement. So for the time being, just to get this car moving and get it back on the driveway where I can get all the front end off, check out the steering rack and various other things. I can't really do it on the road here. It's really like not the best place. I'm gonna take this off, this top arm, which I should be able to do in situ here. Just put the new one on with 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3. That hopefully should hold it in place, just so we can move this car and get it over there. I think that's it really. Sometimes it gets stuck in there. It's really tricky with these things. So I'm going to take the mount point off at the back here, good one, and then we're going to have to find out how to get this stud out from this side. Probably going to have to drill it and see if we can get a replacement. Okay, so we just got to get this bolt out here, which is not wanting to play ball. We can do that, we're all good. Okay, we are taking this whole front side corner off at the moment. We've got all the top arm off. I was trying to get the arm out of here, but it's just, this bolt just is rounded off, it won't come out. Got all of the steering rack off, all of the anti-roll bar off, and now what I've done is, without taking, all the brake system looks okay, so I'm trying to just keep it so we don't actually remove all of the pipes from this, so don't have to bleed it. So literally taking it off, that's resting on there, and then we've just got to get this last bit off. This bit here is already sheared off anyway, so okay, and then this one here is the bit that's holding it all on now. Let's see if we can get this off. Cool. that is one pretty busted up Scuderia suspension. Okay guys, so I've just taken off the shock from the Scuderia, and well, we've got our first disaster. Let me come a bit closer to show you. Now, if I spin this, I don't know if you can see there on camera, but basically it's a bit bent, it's a little bit bananaed, that one, and well, that is a disaster, because that I'm holding in my hand is £5,482 to replace, and that is not the way I wanted to go on the board here. We need to bring prices down, not up, so I'm going to have to go away and try and figure out a solution on that. Now, the issue is, this is unique to the Scuderia, and it's got the titanium spring there. Now, I do have a temporary solution, which is here. So we've got a standard 360 shock absorber. So they look the same, obviously they're different internals, and the springs are different. That's a steel spring, titanium spring. But as a temporary solution to get the car mobile, I'm going to stick this 361 on the car.
Mate, what are you doing? What about the car?
Man, I've had enough of that car, all the hassle, all the expenditure. I need something to take my mind off it, something to play, something fun, and something free.
The reality game experience you've been dreaming about is here. Damco presents the Omega Game, the last turn-based combat city builder you'll ever want to play. Play at Work hails it visually stunning, a game to end all games. Go multiplayer to invite friends and meet attractive singles near you.
Okay, so that might have been a totally fake fun ad, but imagine if this video was actually sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Played by over 80 million around the world, this fun and action-packed game contains 700 unique champions. We're talking a game of super detailed RPG with intense graphics that takes me to another world. And Raid continues to get bigger and better with one of the most requested features, live arena PvP. Raid's letting you duke it against other players, picking and banning champions before dueling to determine the ultimate warrior. It's not just prestige you're fighting for though, live arena is bringing you some awesome rewards too. I'm talking about artifact sets, fragments from legendary Void Champion, and special live arena crests that unlock powerful new bonuses at the Great Hall. And if that is not enough, there's more new champions, Season 8 of Forge Pass, and Easter theme events alongside a bunch of other things. And with all this exciting stuff and more coming to Raid, if you haven't started playing, then what are you waiting for? New players, use my link in the description below, or just scan the QR code up there and you'll get a free starter pack with all of this cool in-game loot. And once you're encrusting all your enemies, come find me under the name Ratarossa, join my clan and we'll be legends together. Just click on the link in the description below the video and I'll see you on the battlefield. Alright, so I'm just test fitting everything, so the top arm all fits in. We have got one stud sheared off here, so if anyone's got any suggestions how we go about just getting that out, so the stud comes out, I need to get the old one where it's just sheared off out of the frame here, and then any suggestions on tools to do that, that would be fantastic. Top shock, that can go in, that's a good fit, no problem here. Anti-roll bar, which I'm still not sure if that is broken or not. Now that is going to come up above there. Right, let's see if this lines up nicely. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Right, that's great. That is really good news. So at the moment, we're looking pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to just test fit all of this, button it up. If it all works, it looks great so far, and then I'll come back in a sec. Okay, right. Okay guys, next dilemma on the Scuderia that we need to figure out is all to do with these. This is the hub that came off the car. Now, as you saw, we have put a replacement on there. It's a temporary solution just to get the car moving. But I have found we have got a little bit of a problem with the hub that we've put on there. So it was a 360 one that I had spare kicking around, front hub. We put the arms on it and the hub solution itself with all the brake system. Now, as you can see with this, the obvious damage was the suspension arms. This one's completely bent and obliterated there, and the bottom one, well, we've only got half of it left. So so that is where all the damage occurred. The hub itself though looks pretty good. Can't see any damage to that at all. So I need to try and reuse this, and I figured out a reason why I have to do that, and that is because they are very, very slightly different between the normal 360, the Stradale, the normal 430, and the Scuderia. So let me explain. Challenge Stradale 430 with the carbon ceramic upgrade from factory all use the same hubs as a normal 360. Scuderia is very slightly different, and it's all in this area here. This point is where your two mounting points for the brake caliper sit, like this. Okay, now if you compare that to this one, this is my spare from the normal Stradale, and it's the same, like I say, as a 360 or a 430. These come out a little bit, and if you compare the two next to each other like that, you can clearly see that the Scuderia ones come out a little bit further. And the reason for that is because, let's look at our hub. This is a Stradale carbon ceramic brake disc. If we sit that on there, it's the spare one, it's no good, so I'm not worried about damaging it. The Scuderia one is very slightly bigger, by about that, as is the caliper on the Scuderia. Now when you sit that on here, it fits nicely, and you've got brake discs in there. But what I found, because of this area being slightly closer, when we did it on the 360 with the Scuderia brake disc, it basically hit the disc and it wouldn't spin. So we put a couple of spacers on there, some cheap washers, just to space it out, and it's working at the moment, but it's not a solution that we are going to do. So we are going to try and reuse this hub. As I said, it all looks good. I can't see any damage to the hub at all, apart from the fact that I can't get these bolts out to remove the arms. Now, what we've looked at when we spent 2 hours trying to do this, get them out, the bolts are completely loose. However, this bushing for the top of the suspension is jammed against the bolt, so I can't withdraw the bolt. Now, we've tried a load of things, nothing's working. So the only solution we're going to come up with is cut them. Okay, I think it's done the trick. I'll just hit it a bit with this chisel. You can see it's starting to break up. It still wants to stay on there. Look at that bit there. It still wants to stay on there. So that's job done. Had to actually go to the big angle grinder in the end just to get right in there. We had to cut the bolt. I've also removed the bottom suspension arm, so the hub is all good. I've had a good inspection around it and it looks absolutely fine. Oh, that's great. Wicked. Okay, I think we might be in with a bit of luck here. This corner is all on, so we've got a bit of a combination here between the old 360 stuff and well, the original stuff from the Scuderia. So the last job is just to put on the wheel, and hopefully we are then mobile. Not major mobile, but mobile when the sense of getting it on the driveway. Let's try it out. The most obvious part on the Scuderia that is 100% going to have to be replaced is that right side front wheel, which is completely obliterated. But nothing is simple when you rebuild these cars. I've been checking, and unfortunately there are no normal standard size this type front wheel for the Scuderia. They have the optional 5-spoke, which they really put on the 16Ms. It was an optional upgrade on the normal coupes, but none of the original ones. And the price, well, they are not cheap. They're about, well, with that, over £3,000 each, if you can find them. Now, I've checked Ferrari here in the UK. I have checked a load of other suppliers, and nobody has Scuderia front wheels anywhere in the world. So we have to think out the box. Managed to pick one up. This one here came from eBay, and well, it's a bit of a bargain, to be honest. £700 delivered, but unfortunately it comes with a little bit of damage just to the spokes there. It looks like it's just gone round and just clipped something, and a little bit of curb rash over here. Nothing major, no other damage to the wheel. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to spend a little bit more than the £700. We're going to take this to my wheel guys, and they're going to refurb this one, make it look like new before it goes on the Scud. Let's go. So we come to my local guys, Warfield Wheels. Now you've seen these guys probably about 3 or 4 times on the channel before. They've done 308 wheels, they've done Ratarossa wheels, they've done Challenge Ferrari wheels, and now they're going to be doing Scuderia wheels. Let's go inside. And with the magic of YouTube, we are back 1 day later. This is the Scuderia wheel, looking like new, but also I had a spare Ferrari wheel, and this thing was properly mashed. We had a big chunk out of it, and the guys, check that out. That is like brand new. You wouldn't know. Guys, if you're local, make sure you check out my guys at Warfield Wheels. Next stop is tyre garage. We're going to get a new tyre on the front. We're going to get one on the Strad as a bonus, and what I really want to do is get the guys to check out the rear wheel, and hopefully it's okay along with the tyre, so we can save a little bit of money. Just run a test, and we've got a little bit of air leaking out the side, and basically we think it's just because there's a load of dirt in there. Cleaned it up. It's going to just put a bit of sealant around it, and then it should be good. And a quick test, and all good. Job done, guys. So we've had 3 things happening. Rear wheel, they've reseated this tyre, just resealed it all, checked everything out. It's all good. There's no problems with that at all. Front one, we got a brand new Pilot Sport Cup 2 on there with the refurbished replacement front wheel, and then as a bonus, my Ferrari rear wheel there. We've had a tyre put on that, so that, well, it's a very expensive spare to keep around, but it's very, very handy. Ready?
Ready.
Okay, wheel is ready to go back on. But before we do that, let's have a quick look at this corner and see just how bad it is. Right, the disc, no damage at all. Same with the caliper, not even a scuff on it. Handbrake caliper's all good. All of our suspension arms, great news there, nothing is damaged at all. None of our mounts, shock absorber's all good. It's all straight. So the very expensive stuff is really good. The only damage is a bit on this rear bumper, and to be honest, this is the only damage on the rear bumper, and that's most likely just going to get repaired, because that is very, very easy to do that. Repaired and then repainted. The other thing here is the wheel arch. You can see it's all smashed here, so we're going to have to replace that. Just the wheel arch liner, and obviously the rear quarter and this lower panel here as well. This one does need a little bit of a refurb. We have got a couple of little nicks on it around here, so I will get that done at some point, but for now the goal is really just to get this car as mobile as possible, so we can start getting it really on the driveway behind us, and I can start stripping out the front of it and assessing the rest of the damage. Final thing, obviously, you know, we've done the wheel. It's in a wheel cap, aren't we? And the fourth one, still a good one. Hold on, it's not quite good. Now it is.
Now it's good.
Now it's good. Okay, so the next job on the 430 is we're going to try and start this car. Now remember, this car has skidded through a field, through a gate, but hopefully none of that should affect this, the money shot of the car, the 4.3 litre, beautiful 510 brake horsepower V8 engine. Anyway, first of all, major thing is we're going to check all the fluid levels. Now, I'm not seeing anything leaking out of the back of this one, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So first of all, let's check out the F1 fluid. And that all looks good. That's at the right level, so that's cool. Happy with that. Let's check our coolant while we're doing this. Everything's carbon fibre here. Look at this, carbon fibre cover. And again, you can see Nice load of fluid in there, so that's cool. Next one is going to be a bit of a tricky one because it's going to be the engine oil here. Now you can see there's a tiny bit on the bottom of the dipstick, but really to do this the car has to be up to temperature and running, so that's okay. That's, in fact, I see some on there, that's good. There's no leaks underneath it. And then the final one really is this power steering. Now that looks extremely low, but well, we're going to have to do a bit of investigation on that one, but that is not going to stop us and not going to make any difference to the engine starting on this. So let's move on into there and see if we can get this baby started. Okay, moment of truth. And the sun's come out. It's bound to be a good sign. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. No problems, please. All right. Magic red button is not working. Houston, we have a problem. Foot on brake. Let's try this. Okay, I'm going to just try resetting the car. Let's see if that makes any difference. It's not starting. Okay, so the kill switch is here in the front of the car, but there is meant to be a little key that comes with this, but unfortunately mine is missing, and I can't find that Ferrari sell that separately, which is a little bit annoying. Now I'm not sure if it's meant to be in the toolkit, which again is also missing on this one, but what I've found is this socket here that seems to fit in there nicely. So we're gonna just turn it off. That's it. There we go. So it's off, and I'm gonna leave it for about 5 minutes, and then we're just gonna switch it back on and see if it makes any difference with our start problem. Okay, so we've left the car 5 minutes to do a battery reset. Let's see if that makes a difference. Key in. We got a. Why won't that turn off though?
No idea.
Weird, huh? I've also got a fuel light on the dash, but I've got fuel in it, so that's a bit strange. Yeah, let's see what happens. Oh, we got movement. Not firing up, mate. I can hear the fuel pump going for the F1 system, not the fuel pump. I can hear the F1 pump going. Mate, that is odd. Okay, let's go refer to the manual, which is up there.
What are you looking for?
Well, just the obvious stuff. Obviously we got starter motor because you could hear it turning over, but just making sure that there's no obvious cables that have come off or anything like that. Everything looks good down here on the F1 system. All the stuff on top of the engine looks good there as well. So mate, I'm a little bit puzzled with this one at the moment. Guys, I think I have figured this one out. I'm being a bit of a numpty here. The 360 and the 430 all have fuel cut-off switches down here as a safety precaution when you have an accident, and I think it's been triggered. So all I need to do is push that down, reset it. Let's see, hopefully that fixes it. Confidence is key in these moments. Here we go, sounds good. Listen, we've got no hazard warning, no fuel light. Come on, baby, foot on the brake. Yeah! All right, we have action. What else have I got here? I got no movement that way. There we go, problem with our steering rack. And I can hear some strange gurgling noises down there. I got a bit of movement, but nothing major. Race mode, sport mode. It's got, now obviously we've got the suspension from the 360, so it's probably going to give me some suspension errors, but
Sounds good.
sounds alright, doesn't it? Sounds really good. Well, I think that's about the extent of today's adventure. Everything seems to be working quite nicely. I've got a few errors on the dash, but that's kind of expected. The only major problem is I definitely don't have any steering. Mate, we've got a major problem down here.